Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about all the important mountain ranges across the world in different continents. So here we are going to first of all start with the important mountain ranges of the North American continent. The first mountain and the most important, we can say, the mountains of North America, which we have to understand about, that is the Rocky Mountain, also known as Rockies Range. If we try to understand the location of this particular range, as you can see from this map here, it starts somewhere in the Canada and goes all the way toward the United States of America. So obviously it is the largest or longest range in North America that extends from north to south for a distance of almost 4,800 kilometers. If we try to understand the boundary of this particular mountain range, in the north, the mountain range begins somewhere from the coast or bank of Liard River. Liard River is a very important river in the western part of Canada. And then in the south, this mountain range terminates somewhere near the Pecos River. Pecos River is a very important tributary of another important river flowing between US and Mexico, that is called as Rio Grande River. So Pecos River, tributary of Rio Grande River in the south, and Liard River, west flowing river in the north, is the boundary between the Rockies mountain ranges stretching from north to south. Now if we try to look at the origin of this particular mountain range, so as per geologists, it is believed that this mountain range has developed somewhere between 80 to 55 million years ago from now, at the time of Laramide orogeny. Laramide is the name of the process during which different mountain ranges have originated. Orogeny refers to development or growth or build-up of mountains. It is made up of two words. Oro refers to mountain, and geni is genesis. So genesis of mountain. So Rockies range have originated during the Laramide orogeny. Apart from this, if you look at the process by which the mountain range is supposed to have originated from, it is something that is, in the terms of plate tectonics, is referred as OC convergence, or also called as ocean content convergence. So what actually happened, if you look at the plate movement around the Rockies, so in the westward side we have a Pacific plate, which is a type of oceanic plate, and in the eastward side we have a North American plate, that is an example of continental plate. So when Pacific oceanic plate converged and collided with the North American continental plate, due to it being heavier, it has subducted inside the mantle. Due to the subduction of this plate inside the mantle, we have a development of a large volume of magma that has risen through by breaking across the crust of North American plate, and thus we have a volcanic upheaval as well as upheaval of the whole plateau that led to formation of this western mountain ranges of North America. That is, Rockies is one such example. The most important peak of Rockies, being highest in the Rockies at the height of 4,400 meters, is a Mount Elbert peak. And on the leeward side of Rockies, that means if you look at the Rockies, its orientation is something like that. This side we have the Pacific Ocean, as discussed before, and this side of the Rockies is referred as leeward side because it is lying on the opposite to the wind direction. So wind rises along the Rockies and then descend on this leeward side, and here this wind locally is known by the name of Chinook wind. So as you can understand from this graph, the wind rising from this side, western side, then crosses the Rockies, peaks of the Rockies, and then start to flow in downward direction and then further horizontally toward the Great Plains of North America. And this Chinook winds plays a very important role in the agricultural economy or agricultural families of North America, because it is the blow of Chinook wind that causes melting of the ice that deposits during the winter season in the North American plate. And this melting of ice allows the farmers to sow their wheat, and also all the cattle herders, they bring their cattle out, they bring all the animals out. Animals can freely graze upon the grasses and the land that was earlier submerged below the snow. So that is why Chinook wind is also locally referred as snow eater winds. So that is about the Rockies mountain system. The second important mountain ranges of North America is something that is referred as Appalachian Mountain. Appalachian Mountain extends in the eastward coast of North America. It is believed to be much more older as compared to the Rockies Mountain. Rockies Mountain, as we discussed, originated somewhere about 50 to 80 million years ago, while the Appalachian has originated somewhere in the Ordovician period that lasted around 480 million years ago from now. If we try to understand their extent, this mountain range, similar to Rockies, also extends from north to south direction. In the north, it originates or begins somewhere from the Newfoundland region of the Canada. Newfoundland is the coastal regions, and this coast is very famous for the fishing activity. To give you additional information, around Newfoundland region, we have meeting of two different currents, the cold Labrador current coming from the north and warm Gulf Stream that comes from the south. This meeting of cold and warm current creates a very good fishing ground or fertile fishing ground, and that is why here we have lot of commercial fishing activities that goes on. So Appalachian originates somewhere from Newfoundland and then extend all the way to the central Alabama state of the United States of America, and it extends for a distance of almost 2,400 kilometers. So in extent it is smaller than the Rockies Mountain. Not in the extent, but even in the average elevation, the Appalachians are slightly small. Appalachians are almost half taller as compared to Rockies. This you can understand from this fact also that Rockies are very young mountain, Appalachians are very old mountain. So obviously, if the Appalachian are very old mountains, that means the forces of erosion has been acting continuously on this mountain for a very extended period of time, and these forces of erosion are the main reason why Appalachians have reduced to a significantly in height, and that is why it is less taller than Rockies. However, the highest or tallest peak of Appalachian Mountain is something that is called as Mount Mitchell. That is located in the North Carolina state of United States of America at the elevation of 2037 meter only. That is about the Appalachian. Not only that, if we try to understand the Appalachian, they are very well known for a large scale mineral reserve, especially the coal reserves, and here both the anthracite as well as the bituminous type of coal are found in the valleys of Appalachian region, and that is why it is presence of this coal that has led to development or flourishment of large number of iron, steel and as well as automobile industries around the Appalachian Mountain. If we try to understand the origin and geology of Appalachian Mountain, so these mountains are also very closely related to a Little Atlas Mountain of Morocco in Africa, because it is believed that at one point in time when all the land masses were joined together, Pangea were joined together, the North American continent, as you can see from this image here, North American continent and the African continent were joined together, and that is why the Appalachian and Little Atlas Mountain of Morocco used to make a single mountain chain, but due to the continental rift, due to the break in the plates, now they are separated apart by the Atlantic Ocean. Overall, the extent of Appalachians is in north to south, and that is why it presents as a barrier for the movement across east to west direction, especially in the eastern coast of USA and Canada. And overall, its topography, if you look from this picture, it is kind of ridge and valley topography. Ridge and valley means we have like this kind of topography where we have a lot of valleys around these regions, and we have like ridges, that is the top part of the mountains. So this kind of topography gives actually presents a difficulty in navigation and movement across the mountain ranges. The third important mountain range of North America is something that is called as Sierra Nevada Mountain. It is located on the western coast of USA, and overall it extends from the Central Valley of California in the north to the Great Basin in the south. If you look at the map, this is the overall extent of the Sierra Nevada range. It is much less taller and much smaller as compared to other two mountain ranges that we had discussed before. If we try to understand the dimension, then it extends for almost 640 kilometers from north to south, and it is about 80 kilometers wide at its maximum point. The highest point of this mountain range is 4,421 meters, that is called as Mount Whitney. This mountain range also consists of or have a lake that is called as Lake Tahoe, and Lake Tahoe is famous because it is believed to be the largest alpine lake of North America. Alpine lake means the lake that is found in the alpine areas, that is generally believed to be at elevation higher than 10,000 feet. So such lakes are called as alpine lake, and Lake Tahoe is the largest alpine lake of North America. Not only that, in the Sierra Nevada mountain, it is a home for large number of Red Indian tribes or indigenous Americans as they are called, and several different Red Indian tribes reside in this particular Sierra Nevada range. The origin of Sierra Nevada range again is similar to the origin of Rockies mountain. It also has developed due to the ocean continental convergence and have a volcanic origin due to subduction of denser Nazca plate below the lighter North American plate. The last important mountain range of North America is in the Alaska region of USA. Alaska, if you try to understand the background, Alaska earlier used to be territory of Russia. However, at a certain point of time in the history, Russia has sold Alaska to the USA and now it is part of America. So here if you look at, this is the map of Alaska, this we can see it is Russia, and between Russia and Alaska we have a very important strait that is called as Bering Strait. So this is the Alaska range. You can see from here it is kind of curved range extending from the west to east direction, and on the upper side we have another range that is called as Brooks range. Overall length of this range is not very high, just 650 kilometers long, and the highest point in Alaska range is something that is called as Mount McKinley, which is at the elevation of 6,190 meters. Coincidentally, this mountain peak is also the tallest mountain peak of North America. If we combine all the mountain ranges of North America, whether it is Rockies, Sierra Nevada, Cascade Range, Appalachian Range, and Alaska Range, Mount McKinley is the tallest mountain peak. And it is located at the Ring of Fire. Now, Ring of Fire is the term that is given to a ring or circular kind of structure that starts in the east from New Zealand, then goes all the way along the Australia, Philippines, Indonesia, China, Japan, Russia, and then it goes all the way to the North America and all the way to South America and then to the Antarctica. So this Ring of Fire, what it is basically a volcanic landscape. This in central area we can understand this is our Pacific plate. Pacific plate being an ocean plate is denser, and that is why it is subducting everywhere below the lighter plates. For example, here it is subducting below the North American plate, here it is subducting below the lighter South American plate, on this side it is subducting below the Australian plate, on the upper side it is subducting below the lighter Eurasian plate. So due to this subduction of Pacific plate all across the circumference, what happens, we have an example of convergence of plates, and due to this convergence we have development of magma. This magma then comes out or bursts out in the form of volcanic eruption, and that is why all across on the circumference of Pacific you find volcanic landforms, volcanic mountains, volcanic islands, etc. And that is why the volcano, since it is very hot magma and lava, it is kind of fire, so that is why it is called as Ring of Fire. So Alaska range, here we can see this is situated on the Ring of Fire where we have volcanic eruption that has led to formation of this particular mountain range. That is all about the important mountain ranges of North America. Next, let us try to understand about the important mountain ranges of South America. So the first and the longest continental mountain range of the world is actually located in South America. We try to look at this diagram here, right from the northern tip of South America to the southern tip of South America. Along the western coast, we have the development of a continuous mountain range that is also sometimes referred as Cordilleras. Cordilleras are a term that is used for such mountains which are discontinuous but are having a continued discontinuous peaks are there. They do not have perfect ridge valley or perfect mountain top and valley like a structure, but are extended to a very significant distances. So it is the longest continental range of world, is believed to be extending from north to south for a distance of almost 7,000 kilometers, and at maximum width is 700 kilometers, while the minimum width of this mountain range is 200 kilometers with an average elevation of 4,000 meters. If we try to understand the countries through which Andes range passes through, it passes through total of 7 countries of South America. From the north, Venezuela, then Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. So that is a very, very important point. You have to understand that extending for a distance of 7,000 kilometers, passing through 7 countries on the western coast of South America. The highest peak of the Andes range is the Mount Aconcagua, which is also an example of volcanic fold mountain peak. Again, the origin of Andes is same as the origin of Rockies. We have subduction of the denser opacity plate below the lighter South American plate, and due to the subduction, we have evolution of magma that rises through the crust, break through the crust, and then deposits solidify, forming mountain ranges. The Andes range is believed to have originated somewhere in the Mesozoic and between Mesozoic and Tertiary period, and subduction of Nazca and South American plate has led to development of this particular range. It, similar like Alaska range, it also lies along the Ring of Fire. However, in the eastern part, there is large-scale copper reserves that are found along the Andes mountain ranges, especially nearby the Patagonia desert region. Especially copper nitrate and other part of coppers are found here, and that is why we have a large number of copper mines that we find along the Andes ranges. That is about the mountain range of South America. Next, we have to understand about the mountain range of Africa. So the first, in the northernmost side, the most important mountain range we have is the Atlas mountain, which can be further divided into 4 ranges. We have Tail Atlas in the northernmost side, then we have Middle Atlas in the central region around Morocco, where it is also known by the name of Little Atlas. Then we have High Atlas, and then finally we have Anti-Atlas range. So 4 ranges: Tail Atlas, Middle Atlas, High Atlas, and Anti-Atlas, extending from slightly curved in the north to south direction on the western coast of Africa. It is a very good example of young fold mountain. Fold mountain is something that develops due to the convergence between 2 different continental plates. As 2 different continental plates converge, due to the pressure that is applied on the areas or the marginal areas where convergence is taking place, the sediments and the rocks are upfolded. That means moves in the upward direction, creating a mountain-like structure. Young means this development of this mountain has happened in last 300 million years after Pangaea has broken apart. So Himalayas in India is also one such example of young fold mountain, and Atlas is also such young fold mountain. The overall length of this mountain range is almost 2050 kilometers, curved from north to south direction, and it passes through 3 important countries: Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. If you try to understand the age of this mountain, it is believed to have developed somewhere the first phase, that is the Anti-Atlas range, that has developed in the first phase. Its development has happened somewhere about 300 million years ago from now in the Paleozoic period. However, later on, when Pangaea is split apart, Gondwana, we have African landmass that is part of Gondwana. After splitting from Gondwana, Africa has moved toward Eurasia, similar like India. And due to the continental convergence between African plate from the south and Eurasian plate from the north, now we witness the second and third phase of orogeny and upliftment of the Atlas mountain ranges, and it is during this period that we have development of High, Middle, and Tail Atlas. So these are much more younger as compared to the first Atlas phase, that is the Anti-Atlas. Apart from that, in terms of natural resources, Atlas mountain have large reserve or vast reserve of natural resources, including metallic minerals. Like we have iron, we have copper, we have iron, copper, then we have magnesium. All such minerals are found. Not only that, even they have a very rich reserve of natural gas that is found in these regions. The highest peak of Atlas mountain is called as Mount Tubkal. It is at the elevation of 4,167 meters. And near the northern edge of Atlas mountain, where the Africa tip ends, we have a very important strait that connects the Mediterranean Sea in the east to the Atlantic Ocean in the west, is a Strait of Gibraltar. So if you try to understand this from the map here, this you can see, this is the northernmost tip of Africa. Here we have the Mediterranean Sea. This is the Portugal, that is the peninsula of Portugal, part of Europe. And in between them, you can see a very small gap is there. This gap is what we call as Strait of Gibraltar, through which connectivity is ensured between Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. So that is all about the important mountain ranges of North America, South America, Africa. The other important mountain ranges of the world we'll discuss in the next video session. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.